Yes, it's me again, everybody. I know. Okay, too many people are waiting for me to talk about crystals. So I'm just going to, because I'm trying to keep this so factual and so basic as we work our way through each different topic, I just want to touch on the main question I get asked, or not really the main, but one of, about crystals, which is cleanse. Now, a conversation did take place in my group a few weeks back about how do I cleanse my crystals. I'm going to have to say that I have yet to hear of one crystal that cannot be cleansed in a singing bowl. So they are Tibetan singing bowls. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. You can buy them from a lot of different places. There's also a couple of us that we are sourcing a few things at the moment. I would just like to point out here that crystals are not actually my area of expertise. It was the first diploma I did do in holistic health and alternative therapies. I have then continued to do workshops and certificates and other things like that, but it did get me started and rolling, one thing at a time. Like, it just started the ball rolling for me in this area of my life. So I've yet to hear of one. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, not one. It would come down to, I've seen some really fragile crystals, especially like tiny little, slithers of pieces, like, I don't know if it's meteorite ones or, some you would not want to put in there because they are worth like tiny little bits. Some of them are worth like $5,000. Then you get a huge piece of rose quartz and it's worth like $14. Things like this. Like, it's absolutely insane. You cannot tell the price of a crystal. I also don't, somebody, again, please correct me if I'm wrong, especially you, Sally, if you see this, because Sally's guides talk to her about crystals. The full moon also to recharge and cleanse. Cleanse and recharge, they are different things, which I will touch on over the next few days. This is part A on crystals. So for a full moon, which we've got one coming up, it's probably around my birthday, so it's probably next week. I don't believe that there is a full moon that cannot recharge or cleanse a crystal. They are different, recharging and recleansing, recharging and cleansing. Water, you can cleanse some crystals in water. That can be ocean water, running water, a bowl of water, water in the tap, but it does depend on the crystal yourself, so that's where you best to go to a crystal healing therapist. You can, I've done it, I've cleansed crystals by putting them on the windowsill. I am so much into balance. I've always been very much about balance, and I'm watching my daughter do exactly the same thing. Everything has to be even already, and she's only 7 years old. She just turned 7. And so you can put them on the windowsill for 24 or 48 hours. That's the moonlight and your sun. Again, it comes back down to the crystal. So you can Google it, but they're not necessarily, Google is not always accurate. So I'd be careful. I'd go to a crystal healing therapist myself. Personally, I guess I'm lucky in that industry. Most people I do know are spiritual or do have knowledge. You can bury it in the dirt. I do have an interesting story about that, but I'm trying to keep these lives now short so people do watch them, so they do get the knowledge that I do have to share. It did come up in there too, and I have heard this before about putting them in a bag of rice to sleep with, and things like that. I've also heard of that with some crystals to cleanse them, and recharging and cleansing them, and even programming them are all different topics. But we're at 4 minutes and 13 seconds, so I'm going to stop now. I just wanted to touch base on that all crystals are different because they do emit a different vibrations. One of the things that gets us all going with crystals is actually the beauty of a crystal, which is what a lot of people don't realize. It activates our heart chakra, which is our soul chamber, because they are just, some of them, not all of them, some of my favorite ones are not actually very pretty to look at, but some of them are absolutely beautiful, and it activates chakras in us. Now, that's what people don't realize. One of their healing properties also are. So we've got the full moon, and it can also recharge your crystals. Water, depending on which crystals they are. Your singing bowls, you can bury them in the dirt. water, ocean water, we've covered that, you know, running water, depending what it is, sunlight. Now, it all does come back down to which crystal it is that you are trying to cleanse and recharge. That's why your safest option, if you are new at starting with crystals or even a little bit into it, is to use the moon or come to a crystal healing therapist. Okay, all right, thank you, in love and light.